What is up, everybody? And let's get this thing kicked off. Welcome back to the channel. OG here, and you see the title of the stream, and it makes me excited. I'm excited about several things. We have so much to go through in this stream. A lot of it's going to be turned to a video, so if you only are interested in certain parts, you can go ahead and check those out in the videos. But here's what we're going to go through. One, I'm going to show you why your favorite content creators are following my lead. I'm going to show you where I start talking about these things that I see in these games and how each and every time, every single game this happens, I'm way ahead of all these creators covering these different things, right? I mean, it continues to happen over and over. We're going to talk about that, which I love, right? It makes me happy. It's either A, some of these creators without a doubt are definitely watching my content, following my lead, and then some of them don't know who the heck I am, but when they follow my lead and just see it months later, it just shows me that clearly I'm on the right path, and more importantly, it shows you guys. So as we proceed, when I'm trying to help you guys out, giving you advice, talking about these different things in these games, whatever it may be, you know that I'm just ahead of the curve. I know what I'm talking about. So you may not see a lot of videos on it right off the bat, but that just means that you watching this content puts you ahead of the curve too. And talk is cheap, right? So we're going to go through examples of all of this, but then we're going to get into a little bit about the league and tournaments that I just announced. I just released a video breaking that down, and it's quite simple. That's what I wanted it to be, right? We'll go into that, talking about the OG goals, leagues, and tournaments, and then we will get into breaking down goals and the beauty of goals, getting into some tactics, some particular gameplay examples to really show you guys why I'm so high on this game. It's not like, oh, I really like Kurt and Stallion and they're in their development team. Oh, I really like Andreas Thorstensen, the CEO, actually reached out and invited me to the, closed beta. So now I really like goals. I've been following it way before that. Oh, I'm some type of paid content creator, which no, they would never pay someone like as small as me. I'm a nobody, right? I'm literally just a football loving gamer, just like all of you guys. That just happens to create videos, right? The reason I love this game, it goes layers and layers and layers deep, and I'm going to show you some of that with regards to the gameplay because that's the most important part. So let's get into this first category, which is your favorite creators are following my lead. Now, whenever I make these videos, right, and you can go back and back and back, and I don't just release one or two, I release videos whenever I have something to say. I want to share it with you because I'm not doing this to rack up views. I'm literally sharing any of my knowledge, any of my takes on these different games, anything I see, I'm sharing with you as it comes, and I make videos accordingly. I don't say, oh, nope, they gotta wait till next week, or oh, I only can drop on Tuesday and Thursday at these certain times because that will increase my views. No, I literally have knowledge, have information, and I share it with you. And if you look, and you'll see it when the goals full release comes out, or you'll actually see it in the open beta, they show you when you joined, when you opened your goals account. You see in the upper corner, OGamester FC YouTube. That's my goals account, and it will tell you when you originated, right? When you first opened that account. You'll see mine goes all the way back to July. In July, I recognized what this game could be, right? I started diving into it after players from the community told me about a game that was going to be coming. Started looking into who the developers were and all that. But when I first logged in to play the game, there wasn't enough there to create content around, right? And that's exactly what I said. I logged in on a stream, played, and said, yeah, there could be something here, but it's so early, right? I mean, you're talking, if it's like building a house, you're talking they just were leveling out the ground. And as a channel, you can't really cover anything on that. So sure enough, we let the goals devs cook. We were onto the game way back in July, and next thing you know, December rolls around, and boom, every other football game had continued that entire time, and really for years, to go down the shitter, for lack of a better term. And here comes goals, Right off the bat, I get into the game and I see things they're doing right. And then you peel back a layer and you look at the modes that they have and that they're adding, and you see they're doing more right. Then you see the way their players upgrade and how they're going to keep it fresh. Not get to the point like, for instance, UFL where there's a dead end, or like every other game where you're chasing the same players every year. It's the same OP players. Like this year in FC, it's Claudia Pina, so everyone goes after her. Every year you go after Mbappe and Hullet, and you've seen the way that Goals did their system and their player upgrades and having retirement to take away from hitting a ceiling. And once again, they're doing that right, and everything checked off, just constantly going off on their own path, different from other football games. You feel the great connection. You see 150 ping in the corner, but you have great connection, and you learn. Goals created a unique netcode, their own netcode from scratch, because they recognize that all these other football games were doing it wrong. Another check mark, right? And you continue on there. And so when you see all these other creators finally starting to give Goals their props, which some of them still haven't, but mark my words, they will. The people that I'm following in these other games, the Double A9 Skills, the Nick Runs the Foot Market, Inception, all these trusted creators that I do reactions on because I trust what they say, I trust their content. They're still covering their game, and it makes sense because they make a lot of money on those games, right? But mark my words, they will be joining as well. 1,000% these other creators. And then you have your Panteras of the world, right? Your Richies, these other guys, especially the UFL guys, and I get it. Their game is crashing and burning, but it's been crashing and burning for a long time. The only thing they're finally realizing is that their communities aren't as dumb as they thought. Now, this is what I'm trying to tell you. You either think that I'm some type of superhero with ridiculously amazing foresight that can predict the future, right? And that's why I was so far ahead with what I've been saying about UFL and Goals, and the fact that UFL is going to crash and burn and the creators are going to leave. Or you recognize that I'm just a normal gamer, normal content creator like these other guys, only I decided to be honest with my community where they decided to lie. Because you can't tell me that all these other creators for all these extra months since I've left UFL just now are realizing what I told you months and months and months ago. So which one is it? Are they incompetent creators that don't know their head from their ass when it comes to football, and so they misled you guys playing a broken game for all this time to just say, oh, you know what? I think UFL does suck. Now I guess it does suck. Sorry guys, I should have recognized that, but I'm gonna go play Goals. Or is it the fact that they knew this whole time, but they lied to you, and they're finally realizing, oh, these guys aren't as dumb as I thought. They realize the game sucks. They're gonna stop watching me, right? Because this new great football game's coming. They're going to see what a good game looks like, and that we don't have to spend all this money, and all my views are going to go away. So now I'm panicking. Now I have to change up, right? Which one is it? With these other FC creators and eFootball creators, you're going to see the same thing. It's a much bigger game. They've been around longer, so their communities are much bigger. But you can look at the content. Look at the original time when I first introduced Goals into my channel in July and said we will be back, right? Then 2 months ago when I started making videos on Goals, and pretty much never stopped. Once Goals went away to work on the closed beta, and now we're getting to the open beta, and the game's improved a lot. Hats off to Goals. It's still not perfect. They still have a lot to work on, but it's still by far the best game, and it's going to get into its own level where it's not competing with other games. It's just competing with itself to keep improving, to keep making the player base happier and happier, which is great. And a lot of people laughed at me when I was saying that, and people are still laughing at me now, and some of them, oh, what do you mean Goals is going to take over? Oh, you act like it's this amazing game. Well, I'm going to get into that later. But just remember when I started these videos. And then when Goals went away, I started playing these other games to show you guys just how broken they were. You look at the titles of all the videos, you look at everything I've been releasing, and now you're seeing these other creators again, saying what I said months ago. Even in FC, right? I know that's the least popular game on my channel, right? Because it's so saturated with creators, but all these things double A9's just now saying and Nick's just now saying in Inception, look back when I started saying these things. Look back when I left FC 26, guys. And look what I said when I left the game. And you always have this small group of people, the majority of you know, but you'll have that small group that say, oh, it's only because you lost. Well, when you look at my success level compared to a vast majority of players, I'm at the top level in each game. Oh, well, what's up with this calling out the rats in each game? You only say that when you lose. So then you say there's rats in this game. Well, there's rats in every game. And I call them out when I win or lose. It's just, of course, when you lose, you're going to have a worse attitude, right? I mean, that's common sense. Anybody who played football or competed in anything knows. When you win, you're happier. So let's say you play an opponent that was hacking you the whole time. You lose a game afterwards. You call that opponent out. It's going to be with more venom. Whereas if that opponent was hacking you, but you beat them, oh, you're still going to call them out, but you're going to have that different tone, right? You're going to be more relaxed. You're not going to be as mad because you didn't lose the game. It's that simple. It's just a different type of reaction, but we've never not called out rats on this channel, and we've never not stated the facts. So it's a beautiful thing for goals because what you're seeing is almost like a predicted future, like I said. When I started calling these things months ago, started saying in my Discord, oh, trust me, all these creators will follow. They'll see their games crashing with UFL being first. Then eFootball will follow, then FC. With eFootball and FC never truly all the way falling, they'll just never reach their maximum heights again, okay? And I say that because their player bases are so huge. eFootball in the Asian market, FC around the world, pretty much everywhere outside of the Asian market, even a little bit there. And so they'll never just totally crash and burn like UFL, but they will never be the same. And their creators will start to see, especially the good ones like Inception and Nick and Double A9 and all these true football playing guys, Boris Legend, even though like he's clearly taken a bag from UFL, but he'll you trust me, he'll play goals and he'll love it because these guys, that's what kind of football they love. That's what made me started watching their content. True football loving guys, not guys looking for exploits or shortcuts or trying to play football on the sticks differently than real football, almost like they're trying to learn to beat a game as opposed to play a sport that they love. You see what I'm saying? And so that's how I knew goals would be great, because many of us, that's why a lot of people from this channel also love the old PES games or even the FIFA games, because they were simplified and it was more about true football. Yet none of these creators you're seeing, right? And I'm not some sissy boy, I'll call him by name, like Pantera. I told him what he was going to do before he ever even said a word about what he was going to do. Go back and look. I called it. Same with the Richie guy, same with the boss man, whatever, the dude who's an actor from Africa, that loser will never leave UFL because he's clueless. He acts like exploits are skill. He clearly doesn't know. He'll end up fading off with UFL or continue covering, but like the fake football guys, right? And I'm not saying that they're not good guys, but I'm saying like I can't believe them that they didn't know way back when I knew months and months and months ago, saying what I'm saying now. I can't find it in my mind to believe that they truly didn't know that this was all going to crash and burn, right? So if Pantera came to me right now, or any of these guys had said, whoa, bro, why are you saying I'm a fake football guy? And like, here's why. You answer my question I just had. Every step that I take, you follow what I do. You guys look yourselves, which is okay. But the problem that I have is you're misleading your community. Well, no, I'm not. How am I misleading them? Okay. When I called UFL out months and months and months ago, and you were there playing and you were just a smaller creator, and then you stayed in the game playing, which one is it? Am I just that much smarter than you to say everything I called out months ago that's now happening and that's been happening, and you just truly don't have the knowledge to know, so you weren't misleading your community, you just were ignorant like them? Or is it that you knew this whole time what I was saying when I left UFL and essentially calling out strikers for all their bullshit? You just didn't want to say it because you wanted to get the views and make a little money off of these guys playing a broken game. And finally, you realizing that the community is seeing that the game's broken because they just cannot help themselves strikers. They just keep getting greedier and the game keeps getting worse. So whichever one it is, I would need to know. If it's the latter and you knew this whole time that you were leading your community with false hope and that you knew the game was messed up like I said months ago and you just didn't tell them, then you're a piece of trash. You're a fake football content creator just like the rest of them. The reason I started creating content was to battle against people like you. If it's the first part and you just aren't that knowledgeable and you truly didn't see what I saw months and months and months ago, that's okay, right? Not everyone has my knowledge. Not everyone. It's fine. And I'm glad that you're taking note and finally listening to what I've been saying for months and months and months. Because everything in these videos that I'm seeing now, I said months and months ago. You can check. I mean, guys, if we scroll all the way back, whether it's FC or eFootball, in this case we're talking about UFL, which is the most important because that's what I started my channel around, is UFL. I had so much hope for this game, but the minute I saw that I was leading my community down a bad path, I left UFL. Didn't care about the views, didn't care about anything. I left, right? Once I saw that this game, I left. So why didn't Pantera see this at the time? Why didn't Richie, all these guys that were not very big or that were just starting? Is it because they just wanted to keep growing their channel there and they knew if they spoke the truth, their community, why would their community play a game that they are saying is trash or it's broken? So they either didn't know any of this stuff because they weren't at my level, or they knew the whole time and they just wanted views. Which one is it? Once I get that answer, then I can tell you if I respect them or not. But the main reason this is important to note is because if these guys knew what I said months ago and didn't tell you guys, then they're trash in my book, okay? Way back when I was saying that UFL was broken, which was, let's look at this. Let's look. This is after I had left already, and this is already 7 months ago. Let's look here. eFootball 523. So where is it? Tactics School. So the scam details. 7 months ago, guys. UFL exposed. The scam details. Right? I mean, you guys tell me. 7 months. I'm that much more knowledgeable than these guys that it took them 7 months before they started calling out what I've called out, right? And there's probably earlier ones than this. And this is before I totally left the game. But when I started, as you can see, started exploring other games 7 months ago. And then I was saying, guys, if anybody's still playing this game telling you it's okay, they're lying to you. So all this time, even 6 months ago, 5 months, 4 months, 3 months, 2 months, all this time you're telling me that just now, after all this time, and then since July, I told you goals is going to be something special. And then now I'm covering goals on a daily for 2 months now, by the way. You can see my first goals video. When I finally was like, okay, there's enough meat here to really cover this game. And as you can see, I cover it. So 7 months ago, I call UFL. Some of these creators I'm telling you are still acting like UFL is okay. Others are finally, after 7 months, telling the truth. Or finally, they caught up to my level of intelligence. You tell me which one it is. It's one of those two, though, guys. It can't be. There's no other options. Either they knew all along and they led you guys down a path just to get your views, or they're that dumb that it took them this long to realize that they were leading their community to a dead-end game, and through a dead-end game. All right, that's just facts. Tell me where I'm wrong. So all through here, notice if there's anything on UFL, it's calling them out. Even when I try to give it a chance here and there because my community asked, right? Watch before buying, the UFL stuff, showing you guys another scam. I mean, you constantly look at it. This game is about sneaky fun football, talking about how big of a joke UFL is. So it was actually fun, but showcasing just how trash it is, right? And saying, like, listen, you can play UFL. Look, UFL is garbage and the best football game out. UFL is garbage. And the best, because I talked about, like, all these games suck. But if you're going to still play football, might as well try to, like, make a joke of it since all these games are a joke. But still not misleading people, saying, literally, UFL is garbage. Months and months. This one even was 2 months ago, guys. So all through here. Then goals comes. So you see here, 2 months ago, started covering the game. So it took you 2 months to finally realize where goals was. It took you 7 months to catch up to where I was with my knowledge of where these games. You expect me to believe that? Am I that much smarter than these guys? Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. But I'm just calling facts facts. So now we're going to move on. But my challenge is for any of these creators that have been following my lead, but along the way have talked shit or acted like I was wrong with what I was saying about UFL, that acted like they knew more, like the game was going to go in a good direction. You know, all this stuff. Go look at their content. Go look at the titles of their videos and stuff. I challenge any of you that follow these creators that are months and months behind me when I call out these games, when I tell you guys, you're going down a bad path buying packs here. You're going down a bad path playing this game. It's going in a bad direction. This is wrong with it. This is wrong. These guys that are months and months behind me, especially the ones who knew who, no, some of them don't know who I am. They just happen to be following in my footsteps and they don't know it. I get that. But the ones who do, because they've said my name or reacted to my videos, my challenge is ask them, did you know all along? Because OG was calling this stuff almost a year ago and you're just now telling us, right? And we believed in you and now look where you've led us. Or right? Did you truly, you're truly just not that smart. You don't really know much, which means when you create content, you should probably say that, because there's a lot of people that falsely thought you know what you were doing. And now you got a lot of people that have wasted a lot of time and money because they believed you. So whether you're a fraud and you knew and didn't tell people, or, you know, and lied to them, or you're a fraud in the sense of you acted like you knew more than you did, either way, that's what the problem with content creators are, guys. Because people like me and you, we watch this content, we listen to what they say, we think they have, some of them with certain news they'll drop, will think they have some type of connections. Some of the tactics and stuff will think that they're really helping us. Then you find out later, oh my God, he released a video he does it like clockwork. Every week there's a new formation he covers, so he's not really telling us this great formation to use. He's just going through all different formations to get views on a video, right? Oh, this guy acts like he's giving us news updates, but really he's just copying it from... You see what I'm saying? There's all this fraud shit out there, and when you read between the lines, you can easily be misled. So take it as a lesson, not just for football gaming, with everything. There's so many frauds out there, right? So you really have to look at this. Whenever I tell you guys something and it's new, or I'll even get a few of the people in my comment section, this guy's just speaking bullshit, this guy. But look at how many people are jumping on board now on goals. Oh, this guy's just hating on UFL. This guy's just hating. But look where UFL's at. Go back and look at all my videos and then fast forward and look where UFL's at now. Call me on my bluff, guys. Go back. You can see the difference in my content from these other creators. You can see where these guys are literally way behind me in calling out the bullshit and recognizing what's up and seeing which games are going to be good and seeing which updates are going to ruin the game. Right? So, that's the only question I have. If they just aren't on my level knowledge-wise, that's okay. We all have different stuff to bring to the table, that's fine. But if it's what I think it is, which is that they knew just like me, because I don't think of myself as somebody special, I couldn't be that much smarter than these people, or could I? But if it's what I think and they knew all along, then they can go fall off a cliff, because that's a lot of people they scammed, and I don't get down with snake oil salesmen. Never have, never will. There's the same level as rats for me, just shit people. So, that's my take on that, but let's get into the fun part. Something that no matter how much these guys want to jump on the bandwagon, they'll never be able to do, and that is talk actual football. Show you why goals is such a good game, why I'm so high on goals. They've done all the other stuff well. We're even going to use a tactics video here. but they've done so many different things well. But we're going to focus in on the gameplay, and of course, we're going to do so watching closed beta from Marceau, who's one of the best players in the world. So when you're watching this, you're seeing not only one but two good football players, because not just good but great football players, great goals players, because that's what a lot of the players in the closed beta are, right? And like I said, it's been great being able to see break down these games and stuff like this, because even myself, I've been really fine tuning exactly why I was able to play goals game after game after game and have much more fun than eFootball and UFL and FC. Why it excited me to get rewards and goals more so than any bull crap in the other games, right? Because even I had to break it down, because when you're in the moment and you're playing like through the alpha, I'm just turning on the game looking to play, sharing tactics videos, sharing highlights, stuff like that. But when you take a step back and really compare your experiences in each of these games, you learn a lot. And that's what we're going to get into. So I'm going to start with off the pitch and give you a brief rundown, because a lot of you weren't messing with goals at first. And I think it was like maybe more the cartoon look, maybe the fact that UFL failed, so you thought goals would just be another UFL, right? But it's definitely not. Polar opposite of UFL. So we'll get into the start. You turn on goals, you come in, and this is what you're going to see. Your name in the upper right corner, right? Your online ID, and then to the left of that, that 3 that you see on screen here, that is your division. In this case, Marceau is in Division 3. Now, just to give you an idea, at least for when there was more limited players, I was top 30 in the world in the alpha, which again, limited players, like I just said, but even at number 30 in the world, I was Division 2. So put that into perspective. And the reason why I'm so proud of that is because there's absolute monsters, including this guy you see in the upper right corner, Marceau. There's absolute monsters in goals. Real ballers in this game, like real, true, knowledgeable players. And you can tell by how they play. You can tell by how good they are. And we'll get into all that. But at number 30 in the world, still only being Division 2, that will change, obviously, with more and more players out there. But I'm just saying that's how it works. So then you have your divisions, but you also have a skill rating. There's a certain number that you get when you win and lose, and you get to a certain number to keep going up in divisions. But the amount of skill rating that you gain or lose in each game is not the same. It depends on where your opponent is at as well, which puts different weight on different games depending on who you're playing. If you play a much lower ranked opponent, the pressure's on. You better not lose or you're going to lose a lot of points. You play a higher ranked opponent and beat them, you're going to get a ton of points. So each game has different weight, and that adds more, you care more when you're playing ranked, as opposed to the method that FC uses, where it could be a very tough game, a huge win, but you don't feel satisfied because no matter what, you drop down a spot or you go up a spot, or if you win 2 or more games, you go up 2 spots. And then you work to a checkpoint to where losses won't matter. Even if you lose 10 times, you're at that point. Like the way goals did their ranked, every game matters and every game holds different weights, so it's all unique. It's a beautiful thing. They did a great job with that. Not to mention now the rewards in ranked are repeatable, so it's not like alpha where you would play till you got your max rewards in ranked, then you would head to tournaments or somewhere else so you could keep getting rewards. Now with repeatable rewards, you can keep playing ranked, keep trying to climb. You see over there when you go into play, that's where you'll get into the different modes, edit team, customize club, like that's where you'll be able to choose kits and different stuff like that. Edit team obviously is your tactics and things like that. The store will be packs, right? And then they have swaps where you can get rid of some of the players that you have to get new players, new packs to open. Now, in the upper right corner, you see the P, where it's 200 and something thousand. That's in-game currency. Once the full release comes out, you'll see another one that's a gold C. And the gold C actually is going to be your currency that you put in. $10, $20, whatever you put in. What will you be able to buy? Kits, stadiums, packs, stuff like that. But before you think, oh, just another game like everyone else. No, of course these guys, if it's a free-to-play game especially, they have to find a way to make money. And they know how other games have failed with this area. But they're going to keep it with limited packs, keep it mainly at customizing, and stuff like that to spend money so they can make their money but not destroy the game like these other development companies. And why should we believe them? Well, everything they've done up to this point tells us we can, because they've gone a path that matches what they said with how they're going to make their money, right? Obviously, you have to curb your hope, curb your expectations. You should keep your hope high, but curb your expectations as to what this game could be. Maybe they lied this whole time and it ends up being a greed fest. But from what they've shown us, that is next to impossible. Now we'll move on. Once you get in past this screen, right, and go into the modes, you then can choose right here to play knockout, which is their equivalent in goals. They're equivalent to like rivals, or sorry, not rivals, foot champs, or in eFootball. Well, they don't have a weekend thing, so it's nothing in eFootball, or showdown in UFL. Okay, that's what knockout's going to be. And the concept is amazing. The rewards 1,000 times better than UFL's rewards. They reward you all the way up to 1 in the world, 2 in the world, 3 in the world, 5, top 50. Then no matter where you get, you're always looking to obviously get your personal best in knockout, but you'll get rewarded accordingly. So for the very best players in the world, all the way down to the worst, it's a great mode, right? And then as you win more, with only a certain amount of losses that you can get in each level, if you keep winning, you keep going. Once you reach the max amount of losses at that level, you're done and you get the rewards for that level. Tournaments are just as you would think, right? We had these in alpha. You can either play AI tournaments or PvP tournaments, and there's certain different rewards, different requirements, like you can only use 80 and higher rated players or 80 and lower, or you have to have 3 players from France, 3 from England, or whatever restrictions. The tournaments are built like that. Some will have no restrictions, and again, different rewards for both PvP and player versus AI. Of course, ranked, we just talked about, quick play. Then you see the 1v1 friendlies. Like if you want to play a friend, that's what my league will take place in. I will have the participants, the weekly games, and then of course you find a time to play your opponent for that week or opponents. It might be 1 game a week, 2 games a week, but you guys talk to each other in the DMs. Oh yeah, we can play Wednesday at 6. Okay, you both hop on. There's going to be a host and guest. The host always sets up the game. This is where you'll do it at in the friendly. And then, boom, you play your game, right? The host posts it on YouTube so we all can watch if we want. And so I can pull it for highlights or in breakdowns and stuff. And then we report the score, and it's that simple. So this is where you'll do everything, including participating in my leagues and tournaments. Same exact place for the tournament games. You match who you match. The host sets the game up in 1v1 friendly. Boom, you go from there. Then, of course, there's practice where you can go into the arena. There's different challenges where you can get rewards for the newer players learning the controls. And by the way, the controls are like classic FIFA or FC. So you won't have to worry about like getting used to different controls at all, right? So now, moving forward. From there, once you decide what you want to play, which I believe either Marceau here is going to play knockout or ranked, he goes to knockout. This is what it looks like with this new mode. So if you played alpha, you didn't see this, it wasn't there. I'm pretty sure it will be there for open beta. But again, to simplify it, you can look into the details more like once you're actually in the game and checking it out. But to simplify it even more, as you win more games, you go up in rank, right? If you lose the max amount of games at that level, like I said, that's where you end, and you'll get the certain rewards. So you see how that works. You see the leaderboard there. The goal, obviously, if you're one of the very best, you want to get to the knockout round. Once you do that, you want to try to get to the leaderboard. You keep climbing all the way up, and the ultimate rewards are #1 in the world. So it's a lot better than FC. FC, they don't have that. They got rid of their, for instance, top 200 rewards and such stuff like that. Everyone loved that stuff. I don't know why they got rid of it, but at least in goals, no matter who you are from the top to the bottom, you're getting rewarded, which is great. And obviously the rewards vary. The higher you get, the better the rewards, and that's how it should be. So again, just everything from small to big, goals just always gets it right, guys. I mean, they just do. It's just a fact. Just like what I was just telling you about these creators and following what I'm doing. Go check my videos. The timeline tells it all. Go look at my videos that I've been creating. Go look at theirs. Go look in these games what Goals is doing compared to these other games, and go tell me that I'm wrong, that Goals isn't the very best game. So then you go through here, whatever level you're at, you see where Marceau's scores are. He's 4-0 there. You see all the scores listed, right? And then eventually he'll go into a game. Let's see if he goes in at all. So yeah, so check this out. Oh, so I accidentally went off the screen. So that's okay though. So we'll go back here. Rewards claimable in 13 hours or immediately when you get knocked out. So 13 hours is obviously when the knockout ends, but if you get once you get knocked out, you can get them right away. So that's the rewards box, and when he opens that, he'll get whatever it is for that level. So right now it looks like silver 1. Your weekly reward is based on your performance in the knockout game mode. So you see that there, depending on what he gets, and I believe those are the rewards over there to the right, or maybe that's what he's earned so far. I don't know for sure on that one. We'll have to see. And by the way, another cool thing is he's actually in queue to find a game because there's so little players in closed beta. You have to wait a while, but the cool thing in Goals is you can search around while you're waiting for a game, which is awesome, by the way. So that's this stage. So then he goes back out to the main menu and eventually finds a game. You guys know that these are the packs, right? And if you don't, I'm telling you now, these are the different packs. And this particular screen is the swaps. So if Marceau wanted to, he could click into any one of these, whichever reward level he wants, and he'd have to trade in a certain amount of players at a certain level, whether it's basic, common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, mythic. Those are the player ranks from lowest to highest, card levels, I should say. And then you would trade whatever amount they ask for in. It's usually 10 or 11, whatever. And then you get the reward. Like you see the epic swap, if you turn in like, there it is, it says 10. You turn in 10 epics, and then you would get 2 epics for that. You turn in 10 rares that you don't want, you get 2 for that, right? Obviously, before you turn them in, you have to decide, do you want to swap them? Do you want to sell them out for points? Or do you want to keep them and upgrade them? So again, it's just a beautiful system. It works great. And every one of these players that you see in here, if you don't know, is unique. If you were to click into any one of these players right here, like if I were to click into the Romanian there, Nikolai, or the Croatian there, Burlek, or the Argentinian there, Sarah, they all have a tidbit about their personal life, about what makes them special in the field, about just a bit about them that also ties to how they play. And you can see how it matches up with their stats. Stats are important because every one of the detailed stats translates to how they perform on the pitch. Then you can see if the player is worth upgrading, how many upgrades they have, right? And then you earn XP and then pay the cost to get them upgraded. Sometimes they'll turn into subs or role players or starters, or even turn into your future best players all the way from the reserves. Sometimes right away they'll be the best players, right? So the system in itself has a lot of depth, and it's awesome because none of these players are in anywhere else in the game. No two players are alike. Your players are your players. They're unique to Goals, so they're not real life licensed players as we know, but they're also unique to your team, which is brilliant, right? I mean, you'll never get bored doing that. You'll never see mirror matches. You'll never have to use that one broken. Yeah, there's certain like formations that give you a better way to compete on the pitch, if though you play. Like I said, I like the 4-3-3 setups, and I explained that. You can go check out my videos why. But just like I said in that video, if your playstyle doesn't match that, it doesn't matter how good the 4-3-3 type of systems work in Goals, because maybe you're a guy that has to use a 4-4-2 or a more wide setup formation with 4 midfielders or whatever it is because of how you play. And you can absolutely still be successful. That's a beautiful thing. It's not like FC where everybody's got to use the 4-4-1-1 because that's the only way that X, Y, and Z will work, and you have to get Claudia Pena because you need her playstyle plus. Like, none of that exists. So you see here the last thing before we go into it. In the 3-4-1-2, we talked about the 3-back in Goals. This is the only game where you at least can play using a 3-back. Now, a very good player can still catch you on the counter. You can still be in trouble. But because the recovery is so good in the midfielders coming back when they need to and getting up when they need to, unlike the other games, the 3-back works great. Now, I'll give eFootball a little bit of credit here. 3-back is a little bit viable there, but even there, though, especially as you get in the higher levels, you don't see as many. Whereas in goals, the 3-back and the 5-back are both absolutely viable, 100%. So we'll see here as he's getting ready to get into a game, and then we'll start breaking down in game. So that's the opponent playing in a 4-1-2-1-2 wide, it looks like. Or is it narrow? Nope, it's narrow. 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. So this will be very interesting. Unless he switched it and I didn't see. He's in a 3-back, right? The 3-4-1-2, which I love because you get the 3-back, you get all those players pushing up, but you still have your cam. And then you have a narrow setup, right? So polar opposites. So this could be an interesting game if Marceau didn't change that 3-4-1-2 before this game, right? Because I fast forwarded a bit. Let's see. We'll be able to tell. 3-4-1-2. Nope, he's in the 3-4-1-2. So 3-4-1-2 versus 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, not wide, narrow. Polar opposites as far as setups go. Let's see how this game goes, right? I already know the beauty of goals and why it's so good, but I want you to pay attention to how well Marceau's 3-4-1-2 works, even against this 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. I want you to watch his midfielders, how they recover and get back. I want you to watch the defensive movement, the defensive coverage, like the positioning in this 3-4-1-2. And then I want you to watch the players as they move up the pitch and the build-up. Watch the defense. How much of it is AI versus manual control, right? How much of your decision-making is rewarded without any AI interference or animations or whatnot. That's what I want you to pay attention to, because these types of things are exactly what led me to loving goals, which is exactly why I'm this far ahead of all these other creators in backing this game, right? It's not just some cartoon arcade game, and that's what we're going to see right now. So to Blue Lock, the game is not out yet, so it's only PC, which is another thing you won't see in case you guys weren't on the other day. The CEO himself, Andreas Thorstensen, invited me to play the closed beta, but the thing with it is, and this is for you guys too, if you want to play the closed beta, there's a little bit of time left before the open beta. The closed beta is only PC, no console, so you'd have to play PC, which I could, but at this point, we have like a week or two left. I'm just going to wait for console. But for you guys who want to play, go into the Goals Discord and just message them, hey, I would like to play the closed beta. I have PC available, but I believe also you had to have an existing Goals account. And I could be wrong, though. Maybe it's just going online and making your account now. That's the part I didn't check. All I was told is that you have to have PC. It's not console for closed beta. Open beta will be everything. All right, so let's get into the gameplay. Great defense there, just in the nick of time. So the one thing from this gameplay that I heard they need to tweak, or that they would like Goals to tweak, I don't know how the Goals devs feel, is in low depth, it can be very hard to beat, as you're seeing here, right? Because the numbers are so high, so close to goal. But you see there, rebound goal, not the best goal, but also not some trash goal. It was a block shot that went to a teammate and it was finished. But watch the defensive decisions. Watch the movement of the players. Watch the defense. Every single thing you see is player controlled, right? The skill moves, the shielding the ball at the right time, committing your tackles at the right time. Everything is you. There's not, oh, this player has bruiser plus, so I'm going to press X from 10 yards away and win the ball. This player has finesse shot plus or long ranger, so I'm going to shoot the ball from a million yards out. I'm not even going to try to build up anymore, beat the defense. There's none of that. The only thing that matters is the stats. So this player with the ball right? You see down in the corner, they're for Marceau. Marceau's got the ball. Gonzalez, a legendary player, which you know based on the level of the card, that's a high rated player. 93 pace, 94 shooting, 85 passing, 90 dribbling, 70 physical. So of everything, the player can most likely, we don't see the like strength itself because there's sub tactics within this, but you know that this player is going to be great on the ball, and if they get a chance to shoot, Marceau absolutely wants to shoot. Now we don't know the long range versus mid range versus in the box shots because that's all sub categories too. But you can get a general idea that this player is going to be dangerous, even just by the level of the card being legendary. Now you look at the defender going up against Marceau right now. You see there 86 defense, 95 pace, 88 passing, even 75 dribbling. So not terribly, decently agile, let's say, but good enough defense, right? So he's definitely outpowered, but he's got the numbers as well. Also, look at the spacing. If Marceau wants, he can spread all the way out to the left. He has that trail to the left center of the field. And then he's got a bunch of players right now as they're currently scattered, spreading out. He's got a bunch of shorter passing options, right? If they can get to the correct side of the defender, and that's where with the skill gap comes in. You have to be smart and know if your player's if you're gonna have the room to make those short, quick passes, and your decision making's got to be really quick. Because once you make that pass, the defenders are right there to react to it, and there is no delay, right? There is no AI that's going to intercept the ball. Your opponent has to choose the correct passing lanes, has to choose the correct time to close down, make a tackle, shut down certain passing lanes, constantly switching between defenders to cover these different areas, knowing when and where the attacker is probably going to go on the dribble so you don't get burned. It's all skill gap. It's all your decision making. So let's go and see what he does. So he goes to that left center that I talked about. Now his player all the way out wide left is offsides. Can't go there. But you see his other options. There's several, but the spacing is good. So for this opponent, you see 5 players across, so that means one midfielder is dropped back almost like a defender, unless this opponent might have switched to a 5-back to counter Marceau's 3-back. That very well could have happened. It almost looks like a 5-1-2-1-2 maybe, but we'll have to see. But you see Marceau has tough decisions to make because the defenders are right there. You even see that gap in between the two defenders to his striker or attacker inside the box. But you don't know. That could be tough. Like his opponent could close that down. Not to mention, let's look at the stats in the bottom corner. 92 pace, only 75 shooting for his player with the ball, Bischoff. 85 passing, 84 dribbling. So not the worst passing, but not the best. Let's see what he decides to do. Stays on the ball, tries to draw some space, but he can't beat the defense. And look, that was a wall defender. That's a very tough area to make a decision. The defender wins that battle, but Marceau wins it right back. Once again, look at the spacing. I'll give you a little bit of time. And what do you notice, right? All the different triangles, and what the opponent's going to have to do is choose, does he want to worry about the player on the ball and close that space down, or does he want to drop back and worry about the passing lanes and try to get Marceau when he tries to make his next play on a pass? Nothing but decision making in pure football. That's all you're going to see throughout. If I were to do this in FC or eFootball or UFL, the difference is that every time there's some sort of AI or animation or exploit that is the deciding factor over your decision making, right? That's the difference. Everything when you watching goals, it comes down to what you're going to do next. In these other football games, there's a caveat every time because you can hold down R1 and R2 in UFL, or you can play the ball to a player with, let's say, long ranger before it was taken care of, and just shoot the ball, right? Or in FC, you can play it to Claudia Pena and fidget spinner dribble in circles. And there's always like these shortcuts, these ways out. You could go for a glitch through ball in UFL. You could try to just run down the wing and play a lob cross. There is no shortcuts, there is no escapes. Your next decision is purely based on football, right? And how to advance a ball to field to eventually create a shot. At most, you're looking to maybe get the ball to your strongest attacking players, which is no different than what you would do in true football. Like players look for Haaland for Man City. Players look to play the pass to their playmaker when it was Messi and Xavi and Iniesta. You look to get the ball to your playmakers. Like, this is football, guys. Beautiful, unlucky. So I heard with their latest update, those lob through balls and even ground through balls are a little too accurate. And it immediately made me think about, once again, UFL. So think about UFL real quick. You see all these passes. You see that nothing's like predetermined. There's not magnetic passes that go right to your player's foot every time, where you can clear the ball from inside your box and it perfectly travels right to your attacker's feet, because that's how passing works in UFL. No skill gap whatsoever, right? Anything that looks good in UFL passing wise, it's always animation based. That's why those glitch through balls exist. That's why I knew months and months ago that the game was broken, and these other creators are just now jumping off the ship when it's way too late. Because you can't have a good football game when passing doesn't matter, when the passing stat is irrelevant, when passes are automatic, right? And so what's happening in goals now is the lob through balls and the through balls, while there's still variance there, there's still a variance there, still variation in the passes, it's not enough, right? You want a skill gap to be there. You don't want it easy to connect these passes, because that's not how football works. There's skill there, and different players based on stats, they're going to pass the ball differently. A player with 50 passing, which is not good, is going to be way worse than a passer, let's say, on a lob pass that has 99 lob passing. And so Goals is working on showing that. You can actually go in and see where in the Goals Discord where the founders, Andreas Thorstensen, talks about what they're going to be working on, and that was one of the big things. Their next thing they're approaching is to address passing, right? To make it more reliable on the player's stats. Because outside of your decision making, that's all they want to matter is the player's stats. So even if it's not perfect right now, even if, let's say, the lob through balls are too powerful, the fact that these guys are actively working on this and that they're not binded by any animations or any, the foundation of goal or UFL in itself, the foundation of UFL, it's inherently broken. So Goals, unlike UFL, they don't have anything holding them back from making changes. If they want to just scrap passing and make a whole new system, they can do that. UFL literally can't, because they don't have the ability to go all the way back and make those changes. That's why you don't see any of the exploits removed. That's why you see the same problems over and over. That's what all your UFL creators weren't telling you guys this whole time, right? There was never going to be a way that UFL nonsense ever worked. You see what I'm saying? There is never going to be a way. So, again, going back to my content, when you see me call this out months and months and months ago in UFL, my question to all these other creators that are finally jumping ship now, or, oh, well, I'm not totally done, but the gameplay is really bad, so if it doesn't improve, I'm going to play Goals. Well, guess what? You're basically saying, yes, I'm done with UFL because the gameplay's not going to improve, right? Don't even watch my new content. Go back 7, 8, 9, whatever months and go back and look where I explain it. It will never change. I've been right up to this point. It's not going to miraculously change, guys. And so I got a comment just now saying Goals is dead because they don't have licenses. Well, there's maybe like 1% of the population that thinks, oh, I don't care about playing broken trash football as long as I can play with Mbappe, right? Most people, with all due respect, that either love to play football games truly for the football or that have a brain are not going to play some trash that's controlled by AI and animations and just nonsense and spend a bunch of money for players that have no identity instead of going to play goals, all because goals doesn't have the real life players. It's a complete joke. Whether you play, no matter which game you play, you should just pretend that all the players are blank. They don't have an identity. And ask yourself, is the football good? Like, is this football you're watching, is this good? There's no way you're going to say no. Then when you compare it to UFL and eFootball and FC, then you're definitely going to love goals more. If you're only, I'm talking, strip everything else away and only look at the football. Okay? But then once you really dive into the license thing, it's monotonous. It's boring. It creates dead-end systems. Look at, again, with UFL, the skin system, right, in their former build-up system that crashed and burned because they didn't know what they were doing. Look at eFootball re-releasing the same players over and over where they have 7, 8, 10 players, which is why they keep creating more and more of these stupid Showtime skills or player roles that are super restrictive, but they do that because they need different ways to change these same players. Hull it with super shot, hull it with super pass, hull it with super duper pass, hull it with a single booster, hull it with a double booster. Now it's going to be a triple. Same with UFL. Oh, they had one ability perk. Now they're going to have two. Pretty soon there's going to be the super premium ability perk. Then there's going to be the super duper premium ability perk and 3 regular ability perks. And it's all just bullshit to get your guys' money. Goals has none of that. So again, when you're watching and you don't see little playstyles lighting up, you don't see these stupid gimmicky 100-mile-an-hour shots because this player has fast shot, or a player jumping through the roof because they got air sentinel or whatever, all you see is pure football, right? And at the end of the day, these players have way more identity than UFL. Yeah, it's like clones in UFL. They have Mbappe and the players might look like, their graphics might look like the player, but go watch how they play. Their stats, how they play with all the stupid play styles or perks or whatever. They don't even play half the time like the real life player, and the football itself isn't even real football. So what does it matter to have all the real names when the sport itself isn't there? This is its own world. You create your own superstars. And these guys in goals are actually playing real football. When you're competing in goals, it's actually your knowledge of football and how well you translate that to the sticks. And your players come in with how well you utilize them and take advantage of their strong points, their strong stats, and stay away from their weak ones. Tell me any part of that that's not football. It sounds a lot more like football to me rather than a striker that can only be a target man, right? Or a wingback that can only push up and overlap if they have a certain ability perk. Or a center mid that only tracks back if they have a certain ability perk, right? I mean, this is just facts, guys. This is just facts. This is that kick clash game. He always makes these mistakes with those kick clash games. Which, if you're paying attention, I do that sometimes too, where I try to rush too much into a game. But if you pay attention, you can avoid that. I like that black, white, black jersey. So let's go into this game. Law is a very good player. So if you guys follow my Goals Alpha content, I had some really good battles with Law. We went back and forth. He's another top player in the world. I beat him in some really close games, and he beat me in some really close. But there's some of the kits you see. So once again, no licenses, made-up kits. You see the players there. Right, and this is where some players got turned off, like, oh, look, they're cartoon players. Oh, look at the kits, no licenses. I'll take it all day. What are the most popular kits every year in FC? The ones without sponsors, the ones that look unique. No one's just like, oh, I got to get the Man U kits or the Man City. Those ones are never the sought after ones. The licenses don't mean shit when it comes to actually wanting good football for a vast majority. There's a certain small amount of guys that I got to get Mbappe. I'm only playing the game if it's real life. But most people want true football. The players themselves, you turn to superstars, and they have their own identities. And so there's not going to be ever mirror matches or anything like that. I mean, you can't beat that. Yes, it's going to take some getting used to, people who don't like change, but playing a great football game with players that you can upgrade and create your own players, your own superstars, build your players through your system, just like an academy system with upgrades, you can't beat it, guys. I mean, and the sky's the limit for where they can go, giving certain upgrades for players who score a certain amount of goals, get a certain amount of assists, make a certain amount of tackles, and you get a defensive boost on your stats. Just like players who are in form or out of form. Like, there's so many places they can go with this. Just like already having the retirement system, right? When you play with the player, there's an internal clock. Once the player reaches a certain age, they retire, and you got to think about when to or how to replace that player. So you could have an amazing striker. Eventually, that striker will retire. I mean, it's just so far ahead of the game and so brilliant. Same with the anti-time wasting, the way they end the half in games. I mean, look at that goal, guys. What part of that is not pure football? Let's rewind just a bit here, if I even can do it. A bit more. Look at that. Watch the build-up here. Great pass in, great turn. Look at this. Perfectly weighted ball on a great run, and then the finish. Right? And watch how different the goals are throughout this game. I've never seen this game yet. It's a newer stream. If you watch my other goals videos, I haven't covered this. Marceau's been the main one streaming goals, closed beta. So I've been covering this. Haven't covered this game. I can guarantee you the goals will be different. Watch. Look, so he went on his own there. Great defense, great tackle to knock the attacker off the ball. Great timing. Great left stick dribbling, good give and go there. Beautiful ball in, and we got a 1-1 game. No, oh, unlucky. Beautiful block, and then it was unlucky, dude. You see what I mean, though? It's just pure football. There's nobody that's not being a hater that isn't watching this and seeing how good it is. Kevin Pedro says, OG, just played UFL after almost a year. What the F happened with the FIFA 16? I know, dude. I'm telling you, Kevin, I've been calling it. The reason why I titled this video this is because I finally am seeing like guys like Pantera's the main one. It's like, bro, I'm only upset with these guys that are now finally following my lead after so long. It's only because I can only deduct two things. And I said this at the beginning. But the reason I'm going so hard on guys like Pantera is it's like, bro, are you either a fraud and you don't really know football and football games, so all these months that I've been telling you what's going to happen, and you say, no, it's not. Is it just because you truly aren't smart enough to know what I knew? Or did you know all along like I did where the game was going, but you just wanted all the views? And now you're finally seeing that the ship is truly going under, and you're like, all right, see you guys, I'm going to goals. It's like it's just pure trash either way. The worst one would be if he was a fraud lying to his community the whole time. But being a fraud either way, even if it's acting like you know shit that you don't, trying to lead people, it's like a blind leading the blind, and they're trusting you. That's the whole reason I started doing this, because of the cringe content creators that don't know shit. They're just speaking out of their ass for views, right? But when you go and look at the fact that the stuff that these guys are saying now, I said 7-8 months ago, you have to ask that question. And hopefully these guys have the balls to answer. Which one was it? Were you lying to your community, or are you just dumb? Which one is it? But yeah, you're absolutely right, Kevin. You're absolutely right. And mark my words, like Kevin's a former #1 player in the world in UFL. I want, Kevin, what's your honest take when you're watching this gameplay? This is Marceau. Good dude, one of the best players in the world in goals. He's in the white. What in Law is a very good player. Great dude as well. I think he's a college student actually too. Great dude. Two really good guys, obviously battling it out in the closed beta. What are you seeing with this football? So this is a great hot take from the former #1 player in the world in UFL, reacting to two top players in the world in goals. Great goal by Marceau there to go up 4-2. So I got the screen full, so I'll even if you replied, I'm gonna wait a second. I'll look at it in a second. I want to start watching some of this gameplay a little more, but if there's anything people don't like about it, I'd love to go over that too and see. Maybe I'm missing something, right? But I mean, to me, especially once you feel the game and really play it. I mean, look at the defense. You can call your AI over to help you pressure and they'll close the space, but you got to do the work. Look at that for the end of half. It's equal for everybody. The thing is if you're in front of that line, the time stops. Once you get in that line, the time keeps going down and it's going to keep moving forward. So look, the time's counting down. So if you want to score, you got to push forward. You don't have time, which is why he shot like that, right? Notice the time stops and then he went in the line and it ends. So it makes it equal for both players when the half or the game is ending. There's no stoppage time BS where it seems like the game's letting your opponent get 10 shots and you only got one or whatever it is. They made it completely fair. Same with the anti-time wasting. If you hold the ball in the backfield too much, you'll see a red line come up. And if you get caught in that red line, your opponent gets a free kick from midfield. So there's no such thing as time wasting in goals. These guys were brilliant to recognize what they needed to change from real football to football on the sticks to make it the best experience. These other development companies are too brain dead. They don't have the knowledge or ability, because they're not real football gamers, to tweak things from real football. Look at the interception and goals. What do you notice, guys? There is no bounce backs. They got rid of bounce backs right away simply because they understood that they ruined the game. So now interceptions stick to the defender's foot. I mean, look for yourself. Beautiful ball there. Good left stick dribbling. Takes his time, find his option. Good defense. Oh, and by the way, you purposely can't see your opponent's marker over their head. That's on purpose, which is brilliant too, because there is no giveaway in real football as to like, oh, he's controlling this player, this player. You're just playing a team. You can see your marker over your head, of course, but you can't see your opponent's. That's why it always looks like you're playing AI, but that's purposely done because, again, Goals looks at every detail. They get everything right. I mean, that's what we've been asking for years in FC. That marker on the opponent's head, it gives it away. You know? So I'm going to read what Kevin said here. Goals visually looks like a game with no glitches, but still arcade. Seems like the winning 11-6 beats these games. Take a flashback on PES 6 versus real-life games. PS2 games from the past have more reality. Goals seems to bring back that nostalgia, and it does, 100%. Curious to play and test it out. If we think about it, we're in 2026, and the look at the decline of football games. If you take PS2 games to PS3, we see a huge difference. PS2 to PS4, we had some changes. PS4 to PS5, major decline. Goals seems to be mainly on skill gap, no glitches so far. Yes, 100%, that's my take too. And once you play it, you'll really see it. But it's funny because some players were saying, like, as a dig to the game, kind of like with UFL, but with no merit. They would say, like, oh, this looks like PES 6 or FIFA 12 or whatever. But why it was a diss to UFL is because UFL played like a shitty game that looked like the old FIFAs exactly. And long and behold, it allegedly is just a rip from FIFA 16. Whereas Goals, it was said to have, like, where they're going with it, why they're saying that is because there's no play styles or player roles or shit lighting up everywhere, right? Literally, what you get in goals is just the football. And so when people say, oh, the nostalgia from goals is in the simplicity, right? And that's why when we talk about the greatest football games, we're talking about the games from these former eras where all the development companies could do to make players buy their game was keep improving the gameplay and focus on football. Before the era of adding all the play styles and showtime skills and bullshit and smart assist and all. Before that, when it was just about gameplay. Why the games have declined so bad, in my humble opinion, is because the priority transferred from being all about the football on the pitch, the skill, and what the experience was like for each player playing the game. The priority went from that to how to maximize profit with microtransactions. So they had to be able to release 10 Mbappes in a row, but have you want to buy them all. Oh, play styles. How do they make you want to buy the new Hullet? Oh, player roles. One Hullet's more defensive. This Hullet will actually make runs forward. Whereas in a real football game, a player is going to be a target man, but also an advanced forward, but also, you see what I'm saying? A winger is going to be a prolific winger, but also a roaming flank. A wingback might be for, 60% of the game might be a defensive fullback, but then for 40% of the game, we have the ball in the attack. We really have room to push him up. He becomes an attacking wingback. Like, players change roles, and obviously all that should matter for that is your duties and how you as a manager slash player, obviously, but you get what I'm saying, manager, decide to make the duties per game, before the game or when you pause the game. There shouldn't be roles where the player only has certain movements for the whole game. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. So goals will come out with, it's supposed to be full release with the culmination of the start of the World Cup. So sometime during the start of the World Cup. The open beta, which all you guys can play, right? This is closed beta right now, what I'm showing you, which is only on PC and only a very, very small group of players. The open beta is going to be on console, PC, everything, and it's coming within a couple weeks. I just got word. I don't think it's the CEO himself, Andreas Thorstensen, got on the Goals Discord and said not the first week of March, but still looking for early March. Well, that only pretty much leads the second, maybe third week of March, and we will have the game. As you can see, the game is ready to go. As Marceau is getting ready to load into a 5v5 game here, which is another incredible mode. And because of the unique netcode, you can get 10 players in a game 5v5 and have great connection, right? Which is another thing that they don't get enough credit for. Recognizing how bad server issues are screwing up football games, the command delay from it, and creating their own netcode from scratch. I mean, they deserve an award for that, guys. You can play players from across the world, and the connection is a million times better than what you'll get in any other football game. I mean, it's brilliant. So, at the end of the day, I've been saying it for months, right? Both how bad these other football games are and how good goals is, but also the fact that if you want to play true football, there is no other option. It's not like, oh, well, maybe we'll try goals, but let's see if UFL changes. Maybe, guys, the only option if you want to play true football, if you don't care about all the BS, by all means, play whatever. But if you want good football, right, you're going to have to play goals. Look at this stadium they added, by the way. I love this. It's got like a black, almost like a turf look. They want it to be more black because you can see it kind of clashes with that darker kit a bit. But if you have the right jersey colors, this turf color is brilliant for this stadium. But I just love it. I mean, they're just constantly doing cool stuff, man. And at the end of the day, the football's brilliant. I mean, look at this 5v5, right? You're controlling your one player, but it's like, it almost gives you that nostalgia of like, with all, when you had all your buddies playing N64, playing like ISS 64 or something like that, right? But with modern day mechanics. And it's still, once again, just all about football. I'm not saying the game's perfect. Like I said, apparently, like right now, the through balls over the top and on the ground are a little too strong. But that's nothing unfixable, right? You can't expect the game to be perfect, but the fact that these guys are still just in closed beta, which is for every other game pretty much the only thing we get before full release, and they still have work they're doing behind the scenes, and we're going to get this huge open beta where a ton more players are going to get to play again, and we get this pretty much dress rehearsal of the full release. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind that these goals devs will deliver us a masterpiece by full release. So whether they're following right in my footsteps or not, I'm actually glad that they're coming over to goals. Any of these creators that I'm talking about, the ones that don't know me and just happen to be following what I've been saying, and the ones who do know me. But what I'm going to tell you before I end this video, to end this on the same way I started, watch who you follow, right? If you're like me, you watch content both for entertainment, but also to get help improving at these games, to know things, to learn things and improve. Who would want to spend all the time that we do in these games if we don't want to get better, play at our very best? But you can easily be misleaded, right? There's a lot of excellent snake oil salesmen out there that don't know their head from their ass. And you gotta really watch for that, because it can get very easy to be led down a bad path. To be led into playing and spending your money on a broken game, right? To be led down a path that's leading you to just disappointment and frustration. So really pay attention to who you're following, whether you're going to play goals, UFL, FCE football, and check the facts, guys, right? Everything I said before you say, oh, he's just pissed, or man, he's just taking shots at people. Go back and look at what I've been talking about, when I was talking about it, how much later it took for these other guys to finally say the same things as me, and see for yourself. I'm just telling you that because I don't want you guys to be shit on or pretty much used for views. So thank you so much for your support. Please leave a like on this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, if you could take the time to follow me on Twitch, on Kick, where I stream alongside YouTube. I know most of you guys watch on YouTube, but I do, like right now, it's streaming on Twitch and Kick. So the bigger amount of people that follow, the more people will see the community and join, which would really help out. Not to mention, if you could check out my TikTok and X too. I post a lot of updates on TikTok, is where I post all the highlights. My goal is to get a huge community for the league, for the tournaments. I hope that a lot of you guys start your own channels. And then, of course, as the community gets bigger and bigger and we have our league and tournaments, more and more people can really help others out. And we just turn this football gaming world into a great place to be. We turn goals, which looks like the future of football gaming, into an excellent game full of excellent football gamers. It's as simple as that, guys. So I'll see you on the next one. Kevin Pedro, thanks so much for stopping in. Blue Lock, of course, baller. Let's see whatever. I don't want to leave anybody hanging. Thanks so much for Why So Serious UFL. By the way, I knew you were joking earlier. I just wanted to respond because a lot of people do feel that way about the licenses. But Baller140 did not leave you hanging. This will be the last thing I answer before I hop off. The beta will be out between March 7th and... Yep, that's kind of where I was at. Because BDS said it won't be out first week exactly. And there's a 5v5 tournament on the 21st. So likely between there. Perfect. Blue Lock said, I'm not defending Pantera, but how are you so sure he's following you? OG, that's... Well, he 100% is. Because he just released a video that says, guys, UFL's broken. I've said that for months and months and months and months. Then Pantera says, guys, I did a poll. I'm going to do goals content now. Goals looks like a good game, I think. I'm not saying it will for sure be, but it looks pretty good so far. I said that in July, then said there just needs to be more there to cover, then started making videos and covering the game 2 months ago. But everything he's saying now about UFL, I said 7 months ago, Blue Lock. So how is that a far reach to say it's literally the definition of following me? Whether it's on purpose or not is for you guys to determine, but think about it. You got this guy Pantera, just like this Richie, this boss man, that are either purposely leading their community into a down a shit path with a shit game, as their community knowingly is spending money on players and wasting their time, right? So you have these guys either that are too dumb to see that it's broken when I called it 7 months ago, or, like I said, they've known just as long as me, which the first time, go back and look when I was calling out all this shit. 7 months ago, guys. Maybe even longer. That's just as far back as I track my videos that you saw at the beginning. Why would they just be saying it now when I called it 7 months ago? Why would they just be jumping on goals and say, oh, it looks pretty good when I said it 2 months ago? Because you guys all, let's say you follow Pantera, could have been playing the goals alpha along with me and my community. Or at least been told about it. Or been told, hey, we're playing a shit game right now. Or we have no chance that this is going to change. And look how I called the last update. I mean, this is just facts. You see what I'm saying? So once again, let me show you, for example. Fact check it. Here it is 7 months ago. And you can ask Kevin Pedro. Way back when he was #1 in the world, we were calling out and going to battle against UFL. All these same things that these content creators like Pantera are telling you guys right now in almost March of 2026, we were saying literally closer to a year ago. Let's go back and look. 7 months ago. So you see I already pretty much had left. Look at these. Exposing a scam here. UFL exposed. Right? That's as far back as I tracked. And UFL, can there be good news? Right? Releasing stuff. This is back when I was still trying. UFL Dragon Battle secret message to the players, which this was basically, it was a scam. Another scam. Right? To all UFL and eFootball, this is where I started Guard, which was it Gamers United against Rat Destruction, because this was back when Dagger and all them were creating channels that were based around like the exploits in UFL and stuff. So this is 7 months ago. Right? This is 7 months ago. You could see here the exact time, but let's just say loosely. So as you go through, you'll see more and more, and you'll see it about eFootball and FC. And at the time, you would get creators that would say stuff like, oh, you're just hating on the game, or oh, you're wrong. But now you're seeing more and more and more people, right? Yeah, it's not easy. Look. I showed you guys this the other day, and you guys might not have been on, but this is all it takes. So when I go into my private messages, so this is the CEO and founder. You see here. Hey, do you want to try the Goals closed beta, PC only, on February 14th? Right? It was PC only. I was in the middle of moving. But, where I said here, I played on console. That's what my account's on. So after that, I literally just started making videos and breaking it down from these streams. Right? But yeah, I got the invite from the CEO himself. So it's not like, oh my God, like now that you have Goals access, that's huge. All you literally do is go into the Goals Discord and you say, hey, can I have, you guys can get it now, by the way. And you can get access. And I hope he didn't act like it was some special honor, right? But I mean, getting asked from the CEO, yeah, I like, the reason why I feel like that's a big deal is because it shows you their connection to the community, but you guys can get access as well. Like you guys like Blue Locker, Kevin, or Baller. If you have an account on PC, you can play the closed beta. It's not like you got to get that message from that I got from the CEO. I'm saying I showed that because I think it's awesome that the CEO is so connected to the community, but you just go into the Goals Discord. Now maybe he doesn't share that with you because He doesn't want you guys like, oh, they'll have to watch my views, but you can go get Goals closed beta access right now. Damn, do you not have a PC account though already? Right here? Look, this is the founder right here. You see it right here? Oh, I didn't show you the screen. Hold on. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I thought I just showed you this. This is the founder of the game, asking me to play the goals thing on PC only. But I have a console, and I was in the middle of moving. So I just create these videos. I've literally just started covering this here, but it's not a special thing like you see right here where I was asked. It's not like what do you call it? What was I going to say? It's not like a big crazy thing. You just go into goals right here. You go into discussions. Oh, where's that? Goals, discussions. You don't have to get that. That invite that I got from the CEO, that's just because I'm a content creator. It's not like, oh, the CEO's got to know who you are and message you. You typically get it when you go into goals. And then you go into general or discussions and just ask for it. But he probably didn't give it to you because it's so close now. Yeah, so it's not hard. It's not like you don't, it's not some special thing, but notice the difference is what I'm trying to tell you. Anybody can go. I thought you were trying to say that you were saying he got it, so it's like a special, like you saw that the CEO asked me, so you were thinking, oh, you have to be like special to get invited to the goals alpha. Or the goals closed beta. I'm misreading what you're saying. You're just saying that you tried to get access and you couldn't. I have no idea why. I've seen 1 million people ask in this Discord, and if you read through yourself, you'll see 1 million people. They just go, hey, can I get Discord access? And they say, yeah, private message this person, and then they get it. For some reason, I thought you were saying like, oh, it's special if you get it. It means like, but it's not. So I don't know why they said no to you, Blue Lock. I really don't know why. But then, if you look at the details, like I said, here's what I want you to go ask these guys. Why 7 months ago was I saying the same thing these guys are saying now? Why did it take them 7 months longer? Either they have to admit that they just don't know their head from their ass, because if they couldn't see all this shit that we were seeing that long ago, they're dumb. It's like the blind leading the blind. At least admit that to your community before they start listening to you or spending money or see you buy a whole Supreme team full of players. The game was broken about 20 promos before that. Or admit it that you knew and you just wanted to take them for everything you could, so you could get your subscribers up and your views up. It's got to be one of those two, because there's no other reason why I'm 7 months ahead. Why am I 2 months ahead before these guys started talking about a game that's been the best? I've been saying it 2 months ago. Not even just 2 months ago, July, when I said, trust me, this game is going to be something, dude. They got something cooking. How long ago is July? I don't even know. Why? Then I can answer for you. It's one of those two things. Give me any other reason why it took him till now to finally start saying, hey, you know what? I want to try goals. Or, hey, you know what? UFL, it might just be fucked. I'm kind of seeing that I probably should. Why? Look at FC. That's another one you guys missed. This has happened on 3 games now. In FC, when I chose, like, hey, based on the lies that EA Sports told us, we didn't know they were lies at the time, this is going to be a game. And I started doing content on it. Go look, because you're asking me about one guy in particular. Go look at when Pantera said, hey, I'm going to play FC and tried to cover FC. Go look at the difference. It was literally everything's 2 weeks after me, 1 month after me, 2 months after me. I don't have a problem with any of that. The only one I have a problem with is that he's been lying to his community in UFL for a long time. And if you watch this, call him out on what I'm saying. I mean, a a literal pile of crap with UFL and eFootball under it. You can't get much more clear. When was that one? 3 months ago. I mean, you can go through here and look. So go ask, why just now? Why just now with goals? 2 months ago, you could have had your whole community playing the Goals Alpha, which was an actual huge community of players. That would have been awesome. We wanted more players. Oh no, UFL was great then, was it? I'm pretty sure UFL was broken 2 months ago when we were all playing the Goals Alpha having a blast. Not you guys, though, if you follow these idiots. Why? Way back when I was like, you know what? FC looks good, guys. And I was showing the beta stuff. Why? 2 weeks after, it's always that. And it's all, in my opinion, because he don't know fuck all to do. As soon as he gets views, he wants to stick to that. But he led his community for almost a year down a shit path. Go back at the very beginning when I talked about why I started creating content. It's because of all these lying sacks of shit that act like they know shit and they don't. And it's a dangerous thing because when players don't know any better, they'll follow a blind man off of a bridge and not even know what they're doing. You actually got to have some class and admit your knowledge level and admit, hey, I'm lost here, or hey, I got this from this guy. Look at all my reaction videos, right? I'm literally putting them on covers and saying, this is from, look at my latest one even. This is from the best, AA9, right on, if you look in the bottom, you can't see it from here, but right on the thumbnail, as shown by the best, AA9. Like, when I don't know somewhere, when there's other people knowledgeable, I say it. But these scumbag creators like Pantera, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing, so they wait and wait and wait, and then they wait to see what the people that do know what they're doing, they wait to try to follow them. But the problem is bro, you've already screwed so many people in your UFL community. It's way too late, bro. You've already showed that you're a scam. The views meant more to you than telling the truth, bro. Just admit that. I call him to answer those questions. And that's the last thing I'll say. I'm just answering this for Blue Lock. Now, that's one example of many. There's thousands of Panteras out there. But when I call these people out, you got to understand, I started creating content because I got sick of this, seeing this in FC. It's also the reason why I started creating content with UFL and not FC. But Pantera is just like those other creators. Otherwise, I want to ask him personally, and if not, you guys just ask him that one question. Why 7 months ago was I saying stuff that you're just now saying, acting like you couldn't have helped your viewers? Why didn't you tell any of them to play goals when the alpha was out and it was like a full release game? You weren't even talking about goals. It was UFL, right? I mean, you're always a day late and a ton of dollars short because all those tons of dollars, your community was listening to you spending money. You buy a whole Supreme team full of players, these idiots go buy them too, right? And I hate to call them idiots, but for following you, I mean, I don't know how they didn't see you were a fraud a long time ago, but hopefully they see it before they follow you into another another mess on talking about a bunch of shit you don't know. If I'm wrong, give me an explanation there and I'll apologize. So with that being said, watch who you follow. Make sure you fact checked everything and everybody, right? Don't let some blind guy lead you off a bridge, man, so to speak. See you on the next one. Peace out.